This is the F-35 Lightning II, the Air Force's newest and most technologically advanced fighter jet. It can fly at supersonic speeds as fast as 1,200 miles per hour, has an exterior coated in a radar-absorbent stealth material, making it virtually undetectable on enemy radar, and combines a weapon system with the most advanced sensor suite ever installed on a fighter jet, allowing the F-35 to both control and dominate the battlefield. Well, today I'm here at Hill Air Force Base with the 388th Fighter Wing to show you all about the F-35's incredible capabilities and also witness its maneuvers firsthand during a full flight demonstration. So, you better strap in and get ready, because this is the F-35.
Lightning 01, you are cleared for takeoff.
All right, here we go.
Lightning copy is cleared for takeoff. It's showtime.
Prepare for Brim Thunder on the time.
Hey, I'm Major Kristen Beowulf, the commander of the F-35A demonstration team, and we're here at Hill Air Force Base, Utah with the F-35A, the Air Force's premier fifth generation stealth fighter.
Well, I think there are a lot of people out there, including myself, who would give just about anything to be able to experience flying this thing. What's it like being at the controls of an aircraft so advanced and so powerful?
Yeah, I usually break it down to people in simple terms. It's pretty much like you're at the helm of a roller coaster. You're all single seat models, so you're the only one up there, and you're pretty much right up front on the front seat of a roller coaster, but you're at the controls the whole time.
We hear that term fifth generation being thrown around a lot. I know that's a pretty elite class of aircraft to be called that, but what exactly makes something fifth gen?
Fifth gen, our bread and butter is stealth. So stealth technology means we can get in closer to the enemy. We can shoot our missiles, drop our bombs before we're targeted, which is kind of, we can roll back those stout air defenses, ground systems. And our primary mission is being a multi-role seed fighter, so suppression of enemy air defense. Front of the fighter, the pointy nose, is kind of where most of the magic happens. So it's where a lot of the technology lives. Obviously single seat, but really, got the radar in front, so huge, powerful AESA radar that can target multiple air-to-air and air-to-surface tracks at the same time. Kind of everybody's favorite part is going to be these DAS cameras. So a IR camera in there. There's 6 of them around the aircraft using a 360-degree video that you can put onto your visor. That's what allows you to see through the jet, see through yourself as you're flying around. It's actually meant as a missile warning system, but I like to tell people we use it as a night vision backup as well. Since at IR you can see in pitch dark, you can see the clouds, the mountains, other jets. Under the chin, you'll see our EOP system, so electrical optical, different wave of IR, but that's kind of what we use, similar to like a sniper or a lightning pod, to generate targets on the ground, to track air-to-air targets, and we send coordinates from that to the bombs, and that is what allows us to do deliberate targeting or dynamic targeting of moving targets via laser-guided bombs.
And I've really heard the F-35 called like a supercomputer with wings, and it can kind of like control and dominate the battlefield, right? So that's what it's designed for, right? To be kind of that one platform that can do everything?
I mean, over as a 4-ship, yeah, we have a lot of capability to spread, 60 miles wide, control a lot of basically situational awareness of the battle space and pass that along to either 4th string counterparts or people that are making decisions out there. A lot of that is through the radar, where we're picking up targets and passing it to other people. A lot of that is through all these, panels. You start taking them off, they're huge supercomputers and big old things that, I don't even know how to work on, but big sensors throughout every single, basically, skin of the airplane. Everybody's favorite part of fighters is probably the weapons. So the A model of the F-35 is the only one that has an actual internal cannon or gun. So you can see that up on the left intake of the jet. 181 rounds of 25 millimeter. So bigger than a general 4th generation fighter carries, but smaller than an A-10. But we can set a burst round limiter, which is my favorite part, because you can set, squeeze the trigger as long as you want. Only 20 bullets come out, or however many you designate. So it allows you to have 6 or 7 good shots out of the gun. Up under, you can kind of see the weapon bay doors open. That's where all the big magic happens. So we can carry up to 2,000-pound bombs all the way down to 250-pound bombs. It just depends on the variety of the mission. So I said seed is kind of our primary mission. So if we're going after a hardened target, a bunker, tank, we might use the 2,000-pounder versus 8 little targets. We can kind of designate 8 little bombs to go 70 miles out and strike 8 different things. So that's pretty dynamic and pretty cool for us. One of the most advanced flight control systems in, really the world, in conjunction with what the Raptor has, is called a fly-by-wire system. So a little bit more advanced than what the Viper has, the F-16, but really what that means is every input via stick and throttle from the pilot is a request. And I just ask the airplane, pull it, give me all you got, roll left as fast as you can, or whatever. And the airplane's going to do any combination of flight controls to make that happen. It's not like flying a Cessna or an actual hydraulic airplane. So what that means is, one, it's pretty maneuverable, but also it lends a lot of stability to the airplane as well. So what you can see, when I fly the demo, particularly in the slow speed, is people think it's a really hard maneuver and I'm working my butt off, but in actuality, I just freeze the airplane at 30 degrees nose high, and the airplane's flight controls are doing all the work. And so that's what you can kind of see with the trailing edge flaps, the stabs, the horizontal tails, doing all that work to keep the airplane straight and level and stable.
And you mentioned the F-22 Raptor. She's one of the very few select pilots that have flown two fifth-generation fighters, both the F-22 and the F-35. What would you say are some of those kind of differences between the two?
Yeah, still fifth-generation fighters, but really, obviously, the F-22 has two motors, super maneuverable. The thrust vectoring is a really big deal, and it's got just a bigger platform, so it's really, the king of dogfighting. Versus when you transition to the F-35, about 10 years newer, still very maneuverable, but shorter, smaller, but it can carry larger payload, which is important. So we can carry 2,000-pound bombs, they carry 1,000, and really they can carry 8 missiles internal, we're at 4. So a little more air-to-air dominated, we're a little more air-to-ground centric. All right, so here we are at the business end of the jet. So the most powerful fighter engine ever built, the Pratt & Whitney F135, about 43,000 pounds of thrust coming out of it when we're in AB, which is pretty much all 13 minutes of the demo. But really what the super reliability means that I don't have to worry about the engine failing while I'm flying, either out in the range or during the demo. I can just rely on all that thrust whenever I want it.
And there's actually more thrust in the aircraft itself weighs, right? And is that what kind of allows you to literally spin and do all the crazy maneuvers? Or?
Yeah, so with 43,000 pounds of thrust, I get down to 43 gross weight around 2 minutes into the demo. So from that point on, you're accelerating faster than you can handle. So it's a lot, especially down at sea level or out over a beach show.
So I know not everyone may know there's actually 3 different variants of the F-35, right? The A, B, and C. Can you kind of talk us through a little bit of those key differences between the 3?
Yeah, so what you see here is the A model Air Force variant, conventional takeoff on land, just like a normal airplane. The B model is what the Marines generally fly, so that's the STOL variant, short takeoff, vertical land. That's the one that hovers. And then the C model is the carrier variant, so that's the one that gets shot off via the catapult off the aircraft carriers and then lands via the arresting cable on the ship.
So someone that's flown this for so long, any kind of desire to get in a V model and hover? Or?
I've done it in the sim, and it's actually pretty stable and really easy. It's not like the Harrier where you're working all the flight controls, but it's pretty simple. It's a button.
Just one button.
Yeah,
and hover
one
mode.
button, hover mode.
That's sick. Do you ever just look back and be like, I'm in a rocket alien space? I mean, I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah, it feels kind of surreal because you're on the very front edge, so it's not like you see the rest of the plane until another F-35 pulls up next to you and you're like, that's pretty awesome. We're flying a really badass fighter jet.
So I know you're taking off for a demo flight here in just a little bit, which we can't wait to see, but I've got to ask, what is your favorite maneuver?
Standard fighter pilot answer, it depends on where we are, what the environmentals are, the clouds, the weather, beach show, the crowd. But I'd say probably the inverted pass, just because it is so dumb and unnatural as a fighter pilot to be upside down, 300 feet above the ground, kind of looking straight down at the runway. You're like, I am crazy. So it's fun to fly, and it's fun for the crowd to see.
Well, thanks so much for the walk around of the F-35, and we'll be looking for that maneuver.
Absolutely.
Here we are at the Aircrew Flight Equipment section of the 388th Operational Support Squadron at Hill Air Force Base, and you can think of this area sort of like a locker room, but for fighter pilots. Just like your favorite sports team might need an area to gear up before a big game, the same thing applies to F-35 pilots. This is where they store gear like their G-suits, survival vests, and their most important piece of gear, the helmet. Now, I wanted to show you this helmet up close because it's pretty incredible. And in fact, it's the most high-tech fighter pilot helmet ever built, and it's actually integrated into the jet itself. It replaces the traditional heads-up display that you might see on an older aircraft, and instead displays all of the flight data a pilot might need right here on the visor itself. Things like your airspeed, altitude, heading, warning systems, and targeting information is all right here for the pilot whenever they need it. It even has built-in night vision goggles and can project a real-time image by accessing a series of cameras placed all around the aircraft, including letting the pilot look down and see through the bottom of the aircraft itself. And what I think is the most impressive part is that every single helmet is custom fit for each pilot. This is done through a multi-day, multi-step process, and for everything on the helmet to function properly, it has to be perfectly aligned and precisely fit.
All right, so what I have for you right now is everything below the neck that the pilot is going to be wearing. So we got the G-suit right here. This is made to combat the G-forces and force the blood where it needs to go so that they don't lose consciousness. Over here we got the survival jacket. So as you can see right here, these are survival components. They're going to have their flares, flashlights, tourniquets, GPS, everything you're going to need for if the pilot ever needs to eject. And then obviously the oxygen mask, which is going to hook into the aircraft and provide that oxygen that they're going to need. Also, I have an LPU, which we usually install onto the jacket. And I would like Sam to demonstrate the use of this. So
Yeah, I've actually, because do they wear these just over water at all times? Like whenever
usually
they're flying?
over water if they're doing missions over water.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, and so the pilot, if they eject over water, this
Right.
is what keeps them afloat, right? And
It does.
You say they have to manually pull these to inflate it? Is that
yeah,
how it
so
works?
you're just gonna yank it down and then.
All right, here I go. Do I need to be like prepped or something?
No, I'll just give you your space.
All right. Whoa. There we go. I'm afloat. That was scary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like cold too. Sweet.
So what I have for you is the F-35 helmet, and I have it powered up for you. So what I'm gonna have you do is throw it on and have you see what pilots see POV.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is close the visor for you, and then you're gonna be able to see those symbologies that are displayed in front of you.
Yeah, and I talked about it earlier, right? So this is quite literally everything the pilot needs, right? Instead of having a big hunky night vision goggles or heads-up display, is it all right here?
Yeah, all the information that you're gonna need is gonna be displayed on the visor if they need it. And the cool thing is that this helmet is gonna sync to the jet. So it's gonna provide that basically VR function where you're gonna be able to specifically just look through the jet and have a 360-degree view.
Now, for those watching, this helmet's actually quite comfortable. You know, I don't know how heavy it is, but I feel like it's pretty well built. And yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, the future right here. That was what it was designed for, to kind of do everything, right?
Yep, so a fully built helmet is gonna weigh around 5 pounds. So it's gonna help with those G's that the pilot's gonna be pulling. It's super light, all carbon fiber, and it's super durable, so.
And I saw some pilots kind of have them customized with their call sign and logo. Is that
They
you
do.
guys who do that, or how does that work?
They do that themselves, so it gives them a little bit of their own signature to it.
I like that. Makes this helmet even cooler. So at this point, we've seen the F-35 up close and learned about some of its unique design and capabilities, but the one thing we haven't seen is this jet in action. Well, that changes right now, because this F-35 is about to take off to put on a full flight demonstration so we can see what it's truly capable of. The one thing I do know, it's about to get loud. So you better grab your ear pro. This should be pretty sick.
Located at Hill Air Force Base in scenic northern Utah, it is my distinct pleasure to describe to you today
The F-35A Lightning II.
the F-35 gives the United States Air Force the power to dominate the skies anytime, anywhere.
Lightning 01, you are cleared for takeoff.
Lightning copy is cleared for takeoff. It's showtime!
Watch as the F-35 performs a half Cuban 8 at a stunning 50 degrees angle of attack.
Air for Freedom's Thunder on the high V10.
Oh, dude, oh my God.
From your left, the Lightning II's combat ready turn. Major Wolf performing the inverted to inverted pass. The Lightning II pedal turn. The F-35 performing the unique square loop. Ladies and gentlemen, the tactical pitch. The F-35 demonstration team Proudly present the dedication pass. Opposing roll.
Well, there you have it, the F-35 Lightning II. After watching that demo in person, I can confidently say this jet is impressive. A huge shout out to Hill Air Force Base in the 388th Fighter Wing for making this possible. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video.